Adaptations. Everyone's heard of them, everyone's probably seen at least one of them in their life. Some of them are adapted from books, others are adapted from albums, and would you believe that there's even some that are adapted from theme park rides? Thanks Disney. However, a certain medium is currently having a large resurgence in film and TV, this being video games. Video games have been getting adapted in film and TV since the 1980s, with the first two being based on Super Mario Bros. And Star Soldier in 1986. Since then, these types of films have been consistently pumped out into cinemas and streaming, with a lot of these adaptations being met with disappointment from a majority of fans, and sometimes for a right reason. However, this significantly changed in 2023 with the release of The Last of Us, being met with praise from people familiar with the games and people that were not. The studio clearly tried to give it their best shot and it worked out perfectly, which leads us to today, April of 2024, the month of Amazon Prime's Fallout series. But did it meet our expectations? Now, Fallout is a franchise that's been around since the 1990s, set in the future after a nuclear war that basically destroyed the entire world. There's a bunch of different people, ghouls, mutant weird fucking little things. They're all kicking about up there. Some of them are great and a lot of fun, and others are miserably bad. But at the end of the day, there's clearly a great premise for a TV show here. The show was announced in 2020 after Bethesda had declined many an offer over time and eventually decided, yeah, fuck it, we'll give it a go and see if it works out. And they described that the show was going to be a gonzo crazy funny adventure and mindfuck like none you've ever seen before. So with all that being said, let's have a look at the final product. The show follows three characters: Lucy, a vault dweller; Maximus, a member of the Brotherhood of Steel; and the Ghoul, an actor who has turned into a bounty hunter ghoul following the dropping of the bomb. Ellie Purnell and Aaron Moten are great in this, however, Walton Goggins steals every single scene that he is in. I'm so glad that Goggins is finally getting his flowers after arguably the second best performance in the Hateful Eight after Jennifer Jason Leigh. If there was an entire show that was just about his character, I would be perfectly fine with that. Personally, for me, there is zero complaints regarding any of the acting. Even people with smaller roles like Kyle MacLachlan bring so much presence within their performance, and this basically just goes for everyone. Everyone leaves a significant impact on you, and I think that's rightfully so, because the games are always full of these weird, wacky characters that you might only see for one moment, but they leave that impact on you. Now I'm going to quick fire through some other things that I enjoyed because I really just want to get into the main depth of the issues here, and I also don't want this video to be very long because it very well could be. So quick fire round. The music is obviously great. It's all the music from the games, so I mean, you know, you kind of get points for that, I guess. The production design is also very great, as expected with a colossal Amazon budget, so you get some points for that too. And finally, some of the practical effects are really great to look at. Some fun gore here and there, and some things that are really just ripped straight out of old camp horror films. Very, very fun to look at and see. So now that the fun part of this video is over, it's time to get to the part that will send all the Fallout fans that love the show and the game to attack me. So thank you, sorry about that. Here's the story. To sum it up, the story follows Lucy. Lucy leaves her vault after her father is kidnapped, played by MacLachlan. She ventures onto the wasteland of Los Angeles, not much different to how it normally is, to find him. As she goes along, she finds many strange and scary characters, and she also encounters Maximus and the Ghoul. And as the show goes on, we learn more of their backgrounds and just a bit more about their characters before the war and after. The show starts off so perfectly, slowly introducing us to the world of Fallout. As someone who has played one of the games, and I'm replaying it currently as I'm writing this video and I'm loving it, this is a great bit of context and setup for someone who maybe isn't as familiar with the lore and the gameplay. But this is where the main issue lies, and it's where the story goes. I understand that the show is attempting to create a camp and slapstick-esque style of comedy, but unfortunately I feel that the story also attempts to do the same thing. As it builds and its big twists and turns, it turns into some very underwhelming payoff, which feels very ridiculous and empty. Not to mention that it contradicts a lot of the stuff in the games, but I'm not going to touch that fire because Reddit is already doing a very great job at that. I don't want to get into any spoilers for people that maybe haven't seen the show yet, but to just give a little bit of information, there is some info that is given in episode 8 which feels incredibly forced and in an attempt to try and make the show feel much bigger than it actually is. which is a shame because for the most part, they are truly doing so well, and maybe if they just did something a little more grounded, I know that sounds ridiculous in a TV show like this, but it maybe would have paid off a bit better. This brings me on to my final point, which actually isn't my final point, surprise, but it will help me get there. With games like Fallout, there's always stuff going on. Oh, right, okay, you need to collect something from the harbor, okay. Too bad, fuckface, because on the way there you're gonna meet a million fucking raiders who want to kill you and stop you, and then guess what? There's another fucking side quest. Oh, but it's just a little short one, so you may as well just do it. Wait, hold on. I was doing something important, wasn't I? Ah, it doesn't matter. And so the cycle fucking continues on and on as you play the games. They even mention this in the show.
Yeah, well, the Wasteland's got its own golden receiver.
Oh, what's that?
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
A moment, and I like that, but it doesn't defeat the problem here. The issue lies in adaptations as a whole. When we compare this to something like The Last of Us, that works very well as a TV show because it's such a story-driven game that you can easily get the point of the show from point A to point B. Even something like Uncharted, which should be very easy to make, but unfortunately Sony are money-hungry fucks, so they did a bad job at it. But at the end of the day, story-driven games clearly just work so much better, and that's why they are often better critically received. Again, if you're a fan of any of these things, that's completely fine. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that I have fan service towards and I enjoy, but it doesn't remove the issues when viewing it as an actual television show or a film. Something like Fallout is such a challenge because it can really just go anywhere. There's so much you must deliver to fans whilst also making sure that you make a cohesive TV show that anyone can enjoy. Hell, my mum watched this and she said just about the same thing. And no, she hasn't played fucking Fallout. You have so much source material, but you can't really specifically follow one storyline since these games are full of endless possibilities. So at the end of all of this, I guess the only thing I really have to say to Amazon and Bethesda is, you did your best. You made a very okay project, which I had fun watching, but at the end of the day, with a budget of 153 million, maybe you should have just made a new game. Thank you for watching this fun little video. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about Fallout, but I was just like, you know what. I got something really big in the works just now, which hopefully will be out in the next week or two. If not, I will have other videos out anyway, so that's great. And if you watched Fallout and you disagree with me or you agree with me, then let me know in the comments, because I always love hearing what everyone has to say. So yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.